It was a stormy night and my parents were out shopping late. I decided to watch some Scooby-Doo episodes on the TV. The screen flickers to life as I wrap myself in blankets with some popcorn. The storm was surging outside as the wind howled. I flicked my eyes to the window, as it hasn't stormed like this in a while. Coincidentally, a similar storm was now going on in the Scooby-Doo episode, lightning and howling wind surrounding the gang. Yet, something seems strangely off. Everyone is very distant from Shaggy, even Scooby, who was supposed to be at his side at all times. A look of malice dawned heavily on his face, as his black dot eyes seemingly withheld deep dark energy that even disturbed me. As the gang splits up, things get darker. The ghost or demon that the gang had been presumably looking for was nowhere in sight since the beginning of the episode. And suddenly, something off-putting clicked in my mind. There was no opening music, chase, nor title. A feeling of dread now creeped into me. Things on screen not looking like they normally would. The sky, which slowly changed from a navy blue color to a bloody crimson. The moon, which was once a crescent shape, now full, bearing a pinkish hue. When the others talked to Shaggy, they sounded somewhat afraid. Meanwhile, his voice was completely normal. He didn't talk like he usually did, though. His normal voice was slightly deeper, and he spoke clearly without the usual commonly heard in his sentences. When it came time for splitting up, after finding little to no clues, Shaggy was left to roam the mansion alone. Scooby quickly siding with Velma, as Fred went with Daphne. As Shaggy looked around, he found himself in front of a mirror. The reflection was that of a large black mass with glowing red orbs for eyes. He slowly lumbered from the mirror as it shattered. He bumps into Daphne, who was now obviously terrified. Fred was nowhere to be seen. He looks down at her as she slowly crawls back from him, pressing herself against the old, worn-down wall. The screen goes black as a shrill scream of agony and terror blasts through the speakers. I nearly jumped out of my skin. When the scene comes back, Daphne is laying against the wall, a contorted look of horror and agony spread across her face. As her arms and legs are ripped off, her scalp is missing, and her eyes as well. Shaggy's shirt is covered in what looked to be blood, as a peal of manic laughter erupted from the speakers, nearly shaking the floor of my house. Shaggy began to walk around more, soon finding Fred and Velma, who had run into one another while searching for Daphne and Scooby. They slowly back up as they see the blood on Shaggy's shirt. Fred's voice begins to quake. As he sees this, he looks at Shaggy.
Shaggy? Why is there blood on your shirt? What did you do?
Shaggy just laughs and looks right back at Fred, who's frozen in place by his fear. Velma's now hiding behind Fred. Shaggy speaks, but his voice is not his own. It's Daphne's.
Oh God, no, Fred, help me, please.
Fred's face goes pale. Velma starts to cry, nearly falling to her knees. Fred begins to yell in a rage.
You called her! You called Daphne, how could you?
Shaggy's laugh goes louder and more hysterical. Not even a minute later, the screen cuts out. 2 more screens blast out once more. When everything clears, Fred and Velma's bodies lie upon the now bloodied floor. Fred's limbs are torn off, and his necktie was bound tightly around his neck, enough to break through the skin. As for Velma, her glasses lie on the floor cracked, her eyes gouged out as her hands are missing. Shaggy's shirt is nearly drenched with blood. A minute or 2 later, he discovers Scooby, curled up and whimpering in a corner of the abandoned mansion. Lightning cracked through the scene by a window pane. Shaggy looks at his frightened 4-legged companion.
What's the matter, Scoob? Is this god not worthy enough to walk among you? Your friends have seen 1% of my power. Let's see how you handle a measly 5%.
The screen goes bright red as a howl of pain is heard from Scooby. His silhouette is seen with Shaggy's, yet it suddenly disintegrates into a small pile of ashes. His collar's tag melts and distorts as the collar itself burns, along with the poor dog. As the scene comes back to normal, there's nothing left but ashes and the shards of the tag. Shaggy laughs in a psychotic craze. As I'm trembling in pure fear, he suddenly turns his head to face the screen. Slowly, he looks right at me and says,
Maybe you're a worthy opponent.
Lightning cracks as he disappears from the scene. I look around the screen in a panic, quickly getting up and looking closely at it. I freeze as I hear the same laughter slowly coming up from behind me.